I'm going to be ranking the top 10 best centers right now in NBA 2K23. My team, let me know in the comment section down below who are some of your guys' favorite centers to be running right now in the game. And of course, let me know what you guys would change about my top 10 and just your thoughts and opinions on all the cards I do rank. But coming in at the number 10 spot is going to be Pink Diamond Kareem. I still feel like he deserves to be a top 10 center. Some guys I'm leaving out of the list are guys like Gasol. I just don't think he's a top 10 center in the game anymore. And I think Kareem is probably a little bit better. But you guys can let me know some other really good centers that you do think should be on this top 10. But Kareem, I do think, is a very good center still. He's 7'2" with a 7'5" wingspan. If you take a look at everything besides his 3-ball rating, he is super well rounded, has a 92 block, 93 interior defense, actually pretty fast for a center, one of the fastest centers in the game with 88 speed, 88 acceleration, good at finishing around the rim with a 90 standing dunk, 85 driving dunk, and he's an amazing rebounder as well. The one big flaw with Kareem, and the reason why he's kind of low on this list, is because he has a 63 ball and his jump shot's not bad. Like, you can still green with this card pretty consistently, but now we got cards with like very quick timing on centers. We got quick timing on most of the best centers in the game. So all around, I think Kareem still has to be somewhere in the top 10 because of his rebounding ability. He's a very good defender, and all around, I still think is the 10th best center in the game. But coming in at the number 9 spot, I might honestly be ranking this card a little bit too low. I think Walker Kessler really could range from 9 all the way to like 3 or 4. And that's one thing I quickly do want to say before we get into the next rankings. Honestly, guys, I truly believe from like card number 3 all the way to card number 9 at the center position, I really do think you could honestly flip-flop them however you want. I think honestly the centers are very, very close. Unlike any other position, I do think there's pretty big gaps between, like, you know, the 4th best small forward and the 8th best small forward. But for the center position, I honestly believe they are so close. But for me, I'm putting Walker Kessler at the number 9 spot. He's a 7-foot center with a 7'4" wingspan. He's a very good defender, having a 99 block, 95 interior defense. I mean, this card's super well rounded. 79 speed might be a little bit slow for the card, but he actually does have a pretty good jump shot. All around, going to be a very good defender. I think he's just a better Kareem with a faster jump shot, maybe a little bit slower, but definitely has a higher 3-ball and a way better release. But coming in at the number 8 spot, I'm gonna go Joel Embiid. I'm kind of inconsistent with this card. Sometimes I really do enjoy using him and think he's one of the better centers in the game, but I think his jump shot is kind of just too inconsistent for me. I will say, if you can time his release, you know, at a very high level, and you can knock down threes in them consistently, then I think you probably could put him number 2, number 3, wherever you do want to put him. But Joel Embiid, for me, I think his jump shot is just a little bit too inconsistent to put him any higher than 8. But like I said, I'm not even kidding. Like, number 9, 8, Joel Embiid could all be considered 3, 4 if you really want to. But coming in at my number 7 spot, I do think Chet is probably a little bit better than Joel at the center position. For me, I think Chet does have the better release, and then other than that, their stats and badges are going to be very similar. Like, Chet's a really good defender with a 97 block, 92 interior defense, also having an 82 steal and 86 perimeter. Now, the one thing about Chet is his player model really isn't the best for the center position. So if you wanted to throw Joel Embiid over Chet, I think that's definitely a fair argument and a fair debate to have, is that, you know, Joel Embiid could be a better center. For me, like I said, I think Chet just got the more reliable jump shot, and even dribble 6 wise, he's going to be able to move a little bit better than a guy like Joel. So for me, I think Chet is the 7th best center in the game. But coming in, I'm a number 6 spot. I wasn't really sure where to put Marc Gasol because I think he's actually such an elite center. Like, I think you could have him as high as 3, but you could also have him as low as 9. So it's really weird to kind of rank these centers. Honestly, one of the hardest rankings I've had to do, because it's just kind of hard where to put these centers, because is Marc Gasol much better than a Walker Kessler? I'm not exactly sure, because they're about the same speed and athleticism wise. You could say Kessler is probably a little bit better defensively, but I think Gasol's got the better jump shot. Both going to be on quick timing, but I do think Gasol's jump shot's easier to green, but that really comes down to preference. So once again, I think Marc Gasol, who's at number 6, compared to Walker Kessler, who's at that number 9 spot, like, they're basically the same center. Like, they're so close in skill level, it's really hard to rank them. But for me, I do think Marc Gasol is going to be the 6th best center. And then halfway into my list here, coming in at the number 5 spot, is actually going to be a card I do think is better at power forward, which is going to be one of the newer guys Galixopoulos, Nikola Jokic. I do think he's way better at the power forward position, but the center spot is really, I would say, one of the weaker positions in the game. All around, I think it might have the best cards in the game, but I do feel like it's pretty weak, you know, in the top 5 compared to other positions. So I do think Jokic is way better at power forward, but he's still 6'11" at the center spot with a 7'3" wingspan. Defensively, he's definitely going to leave a little bit to be desired, but he's so fast for a center, 90 speed, 90 acceleration. So if you like kind of running a little bit of small ball, or you have a really tall power forward like a Giannis, a KG, another guy who's 6'11", maybe even 7 foot like a Dirk Nowitzki, or 7'1" like Dirk. So if you have those type of cards next to a guy like Jokic, I definitely think he's fine at the center position, because if you want to run a little bit more offense as your bigs, like if you go Dirk and Jokic, you could be dominating people on the offensive end. Yes, you're gonna give up a lot of buckets, but Jokic is so nice kind of as a small ball center that I do think overall he is probably the 5th best center in the game. But coming in at the number 4 spot, I do think Olawakandi at the center spot is probably a little bit better than Jokic, even though I do think Jokic is a much better card than Olawakandi. I think at center, you'd probably rather run him over Jokic. He's 7 foot with a 7'4" wingspan, but does have a really good player model and going to be much better of a defender with a 92 interior defense and a 95 block. And then he's also got an 84 perimeter and an 86 steal as well. Defensively, Hall of Fame badge wise, he's got Hall of Fame anchor, box up piece, brick wall, post lockdown, and tons of good gold defensive badges like clamps, chase on artist, interceptor, pogo stick, rebound chaser. I mean, the card can grab rebounds, finish around the rim, play really good defense. He's got 85 speed, so he's not like crazy fast like Jokic, but he's also not slow like a guy like Marcus Gasol or Walker Kessler. And then release wise, I think he's actually got a really good jump shot. He's basically got the same jump shot as Joe Smith, right? Joe Smith got the D-Rob base and the Al Horford upper. You guys can see he has both the base and the same upper as Olawakandi, but his is actually going to be on quick timing. So Olawakandi's got basically the Joe Smith release, and he's a 7-foot center with really good defense and very good all-around stats. So for me, I think Olawakandi is the 4th best center in my team. And then coming in at the number 3 spot, I think you still got to go D-Rob. I know, like I said, number 3, like D-Rob, is he that much better than a guy like Walker Kessler? You could make an argument Walker Kessler is a better center than D-Rob, and that's the craziest thing about the top 10 centers in my opinion, or top 9 I should say, because I don't think Kareem is very comparable to a guy like D-Rob. But honestly, if you compare D-Rob to any center on this list, whether it's Joel Embiid, whether it's Chet, whether it's Walker Kessler, whether it's Jokic, like you could really make an argument anybody from 4 all the way to 9 are just as good or even better than David Robinson. And so that's why I kind of want to hear your guys' opinions on these top 10 centers and kind of where you guys are ranked them, because for me, I'm just really going off my preference and the centers that I like using. And out of all the centers I've used, because I think I've used every single center on this list, I think I've had the most success with David Robinson, at least, you know, from numbers 3 all the way to 9. So for D-Rob, I think he's going to be the 3rd best center in the game. We all know what D-Rob can do by now. He's basically just Kareem with a way better jump shot. And then coming in at my number 2 spot, I wanted to include KG on this list because I still feel like you can run him at center, even though he's a lot better at power forward, and that's definitely his primary and his better position. But if you wanted to run this card at center and maybe a Jokic or a Dirk at the 4, you could definitely do so, because having 2 guys that are basically 7 foot and one's a very good defender, one's really good on the offensive end, I think that could be a really good combination. Now, if you verse a guy like Yao Ming, who we'll obviously talk about here in a second, then you could struggle. But if you look at the top 10 centers, KG's 6'11", right? So you might be thinking, oh, well, he's way better at power forward, but tell me on this list who KG couldn't guard at the center position. Everybody in this top 10, KG, you know, he's a good enough defender to be able to stay in front of them and get stops underneath the basket, right? Even a 7'2" Kareem, I would take KG to be able to guard him. So yes, he might be better at power forward, and you could say a little bit undersized, right? But honestly, I think KG could guard any top 10 center on this list, besides obviously the number 1 guy, who is going to be Galixopoulos Yao Ming. He's still the best card in the game, probably. I know we got Dark Matter LeBron and Dark Matter Giannis, but you got to give it to Yao Ming. He's the most unguardable, most OP card we've probably maybe ever seen in my team. Like, he's got to be a top 5, you know, best card in my team history, at least for his time period, because this card realistically should have came out in April or May, and he still would have been super overpowered. So the fact that he came out all the way back a month ago in January the 20th, is absolutely crazy. You know, how early we got this good of a Yao Ming card. I mean, they gave him 80 speed, 78 3 ball, which is crazy good for a Yao Ming, especially in January. And then he's also got his jump shot on quick timing. I mean, this card's ridiculous. Easily the best center in the game. But guys, let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think about my top 10 centers? I am really curious to see, you know, what you guys would change about my top 10, because like I've continuously said in the video, it might be a little bit repetitive, but like I've said, I think honestly number 3 all the way through number 9 could really go either way, and you could have maybe 7 at 3, you know, maybe 6 at 3, even 9 at 3. You could really flip-flop it however you guys want. So let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions on my top 10 center list, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.